All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library. Why is this microphone right in my face? All right. We come to you live from Mott Branch Library, where they roll out the red, black, and green carpet every week. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to play our intro video. So like, share, comment. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own emancipation proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live every Tuesday and talk about some of the things we've done the week before, some of the things that we're working on right now, and a few things that we got coming up in the future. Let's go ahead with the intros. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN. I'm an active member of the Nation of Islam here in the city of Toledo. And for those who are just listening, what I'm wearing today, I've got my brown rimmed glasses on. I've got a blue hat today, kind of a striped pullover. I've got my beads on. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter, justice or else. And also, I got to mention that Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey came up with this idea of Community Solidarity Day. And then they brought me in later on. And man, this is our 10th year, Jody. Well, I already gave your name away. So if you could introduce yourself, then we're going to get right to the mission statement. And family, we're going to be wrapping up just a bit earlier because we have the American Muslims for Palestine in the building, and they're having a talk about what's going on with Israel right now and the genocide that's happening there. So we're going to bounce from here over there, show some solidarity with our comrades over there. So could you introduce yourself? What are you wearing? Then we're going to get to the mission statement. We'll take a short break, come back with Anika Fields and the Empowerment Toolbox. And then I think we got Julian Mack with the Black History AF fact for the day. All right?
All righty. What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer of this wonderful organization that is going into its 4th year as a podcast, news, whatever you want to call us, and its 10th year as an organization. Just amazing doing all of this stuff. For those of you that are listening, because we know around this time, Eastern Standard Time, you might be getting off of work, taking kids, doing stuff, or we don't want you driving distracted. Plus, we also know that we're on Spotify, so you don't get to see our awesome faces here and stuff. So we describe ourselves. And again, for those that get online and only meet me in that platform or hear my voice, well, if you hear my voice, it's probably, but I'm a boy. I'm a dude. I'm a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from manifesting the reality I want to see in this world, bringing them with me and cherishing the moments that I've gotten to spend from where it kind of was just a dream, sitting on park benches and being homeless for a decade. And now I'm here. But anyway, as Brother Washington said, my attire is pretty much all Black. Yeah, when I'm in this phase, because I got a lot of things to do. I actually have 7 events this week and stuff like that. This is the poet's attire. It's a long story, but of course my branding and what you always see behind me, hoodies that you can order anywhere or stuff like that. You just have to hit me up and talk to me and communicate with me like a person, not a product. But anyway, we have a mission statement. We have
in our guiding principles, but for today, we're going to run our mission statement.
Okay,
all
we're
right.
just going to do the mission statement. Cool. And also I want to thank everybody for tuning in yesterday to the bonus surprise unexpected community forum, which we haven't done since the pandemical virus that nobody speaks about and all that good stuff. So thank you for Venice. Thank you for the Mott Branch Library for hosting it. And it was a shock to me as I saw our mics there, but
yes,
that's the beautiful thing. I don't have to be the platform. I just want to be the mic. Let me give you a voice. So our mission statement, if you are trying to do something that lasts decades, because we're about to hit our first one, and I see us doing so much more, this is how you get there. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We facilitate progressive community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. And justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to maybe run a short commercial. All right. Come back with Anika Fields and the Empowerment Toolbox. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. Jody, we're going to be right back.
Yeah.
It's the Panama Canal.
En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. Let's go ahead and bring Anika in from the green room. And you know what? While we've got Anika here, I need to bring Julian in so we could test this sound. Let's see what's up with Julian. How you doing, Anika?
I am good. How is everybody there?
All right. Hey, we're getting ready to invite the company over. All right. Sorry. Hey. Uh-oh, the sound is still a bit off, Julian.
That's why we do this. It's okay. He's gonna get in the green room and fix it out himself.
Yeah.
We'll see
All
you
right.
a little bit later on.
All right. So that's why we do what we do. All right. I'd rather check in with him now. All right. And that's our brother Julian Mack, and he's got some brand new equipment. He's got some other equipment that he's working on. But what I want to work on right now is getting to know our guest. She's family, but for some who may not have heard of Anika Fields, we already gave the name. But could you introduce yourself, who you are? We don't know what you're wearing today for those who are listening, and what are we talking about today?
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me again. As you said, we are family. And I appreciate being back after a little bit of an illness here. Today, I am wearing a tan colored short sleeve shirt. I have on a pair of, I had to look down and remember myself. I have on a pair of blue slacks.
All right.
I am wearing my big smile today because I'm happy to see everybody. I'm happy to have my voice back and just happy to be here with everybody today. And what we're talking about today is journaling, and journaling in different aspects.
Okay, so when you say journaling, why is that important for anybody that may be listening and may not know how important journaling is and what it does? Why is journaling so important?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because initially the term journaling may not be as appealing to everybody. But when you take an opportunity to learn about the benefits of journaling and then you call it whatever you wish, it's something that may capture your attention. So some of the benefits, and that would be the reason as well for journaling, is it could help with mental health. And when I say that, I mean like everybody has mental health. Everybody has good and bad days, but journaling is a way to practice expressing your thoughts, expressing your emotions, and there's a lot of science behind it. So one of the striking points of data about journaling is people who were followed for about 30 days and who specifically journaled about things that they're grateful for, and they listed at least 3 things per day for 30 days that they were grateful for, had a reduction in blood pressure of 10%. There's a lot of additional research behind it that makes connections to how just getting your thoughts from your mind out on a piece of paper, on your phone, in a journal, how it can help improve your mood, how it can help improve your overall well-being, and how it could also reduce distress. It acts as a really good strategy when you're going through different stressors or when you're experiencing different stressors, to just be able to write them down. It helps you process through those things, and gives you ideas that you may not necessarily think of when you're sitting in the emotion. So gratitude journaling in particular is an amazing way to change your mindset. So, a lot of us, we're all predisposed to negative thinking.
That's right.
So just identifying, writing down those 3 things per day that you're grateful for can really help shift your mind. It can help like on a cellular level with changing the wiring in your brain, we'll say, to have you become or help you become a little bit more positive in terms of your thoughts. And once you take control of those thoughts, once you capture those thoughts, over a period of time, it becomes a habit. So you learn to be a little bit more positive. And so what happens when you learn to become a little bit more positive and think about things in a more positive manner, more positive things come your way. You're basically replacing those negative thoughts and you're reframing the structure of your mind to where you think positive thoughts so that it affects your day, so that it affects your mood, so that it affects your life, so that it affects the people around you.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I had a challenging day today. Jody and I, we've been supporting. There's a brother that the police had stopped, and they sicked the dog on him. And right now, until we really get things going, we're placing our Black Lives Matter signs and our defund the police signs in some strategic places in Toledo So today we're riding back around the city to look at our signs, and hey, they're gone. So we had to replace them, and those signs aren't free and they're not cheap. So we had to do some inside journaling so that we don't get so upset because somebody's taking our signs, you know. So hopefully we'll put someone out there just to find out who's taking our
set up a spy camera.
Yeah, set up a camera.
Set up a network here to figure out some things.
Right.
I'm glad you connected that, because doing this work, you and Jody are out there on the front lines frequently. I don't know if you guys do take breaks, but you know, I have to take breaks sometimes because of how overwhelming and emotional these things can be. So with that being said, I would like to ask both of you to tell me 3 things that you're grateful for.
All right, awesome.
And I can start if you'd like me to. It's up to you.
No, I think that you asked us, so okay, so you're pointing at me. So you asked us, so we'll go first. And
All
then
right.
Since we got Julian back, I'm gonna check his sound to see how he's doing, and then he can also answer that. All right.
Yes.
So the 3 things that I'm thankful for today is first, I've got reliable transportation. I drive a 2014 Kia Optima. I bought it new. It has over 200,000 miles on it. It's paid for. I am not looking to buy a new car or another car. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my family because I've got some low maintenance sons. I think that by the luck of the draw, God probably thought, hey, he can't take too much. Give him some ready-made children. All right. And I'm thankful for the job that I have. I've got an awesome boss, Myrtle Boykins Lighton, and whatever I do in the community, she supports it. We had a scholarship, a college scholarship, Black Lives Matter scholarship, and her company donated beautifully to that. So my 3 things are my reliable transportation, my family, and particularly my sons, all right, and my boss at work. So just in case, Miss Myrtle, that you see this podcast, you know, I'll be hit you up. Yeah, but hit you up. Absolutely.
Nice setup. I love it.
So let's bring Julian in and check his sound. And if his sound is well, we might be able to get his 3 things that he's grateful for. Hey, what's up, Julian?
What up? Can y'all hear me?
Oh, now you sound great. I was just telling Anika that we have the American Muslims for Palestine in the building, and we're going to be joining them hopefully within the next half an hour or so.
Yeah, they keep walking by the door smiling.
Yeah, smiling.
Ready
saying,
for us.
Yeah, all right. So we're talking to Anika about the Empowerment Toolbox, and she talked about how journaling is important, and she asked myself and Jody for 3 things that we're grateful for. And we have to oblige our sister. Were it not for her, we wouldn't be talking about gratitude and therapy the way that we're talking about it now. So for you, Julian, if you could give us 3 things that you're grateful for, that way we can further test your sound.
First off, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. My name is Julian Mack, and I am the Inward Revolutionary. I'm wearing a burgundy jacket, pink shirt, and a sky blue tie that has 2 things, the Eye of Ra, and I got a necklace that says grateful, right?
All right.
And the reason I do that every day is because you know, I often find myself, I've been practicing this gratitude journal a lot too. And I've been dependent on like being grateful for things outside of me. And I've really been when I look myself in the mirror, I want to be grateful for what's inside of me. And today I'm grateful for the ability to be able to trust myself, right? Trust myself and to believe in myself today. And that's something no one can take from me. And that's something that can only be cultivated from within myself. And that's what I'm so grateful for today.
All right. She asked us for 3. I'm glad that you mentioned 1. All right. And the sound is good. Is good. Is it good enough for you to give us 2 more?
Well, I would just to make it quick, faith, belief, and honesty in myself. Right.
Oh, okay.
You know, I that's taking work. Right. And maybe I don't know if like how deep we're digging right now. I don't know how to always gauge how much time we got.
We're definitely
I get in trouble with Brother Washington real quick.
Yep. That's number 2. We just need 1 more.
And the words real quick are not in your vocabulary. All right.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? It's important that for me, it's important that I'm grateful for things that no one can take from me. I'm grateful for things that I can work on, cultivate, and strengthen within myself, right? Because life gone life, right? And so, you know, the trust in myself is based upon, and really, I would just like to focus on that one thing. It's based upon doing things today that I'll thank myself for tomorrow, right? I have a choice to make. You know, there's past me, there's present me, and there's future me. All right. And in order for me to build trust in myself, it takes me prioritizing the relationship with future me over the relationship with past me. Right. And so what I have to consciously ask myself, what can I do today that I'll thank myself for tomorrow? And as I do those things day after day, moment after moment, week after week, and year after year, all of a sudden, right, say, past me becomes somebody that I'm more proud of day after day, right? And so it's just me trust in myself is a lot and means a lot to me today, and it's worth continuing to cultivate, build, and take time to be grateful for.
All right, we've got about a half an hour left, Jody, for everything.
So we'll go with mine right here. First off, I want to say I am thankful for after 3 terms of being sworn into office, I am now Ward Chair 18.
Okay. What does that mean? Because
it means I sit directly under City Council. When you want to get endorsed, things that are going through the community, it means I'm kind of the workhorse of the party now, but I can also leave my basement, shed, garage that I've been at for almost a decade now, building the person that most people see, whether on camera or off or on social media. I can spread out and see some of the stuff that I've been putting in closets over this past decade and move. Secondly, I am thankful for my daughter, who is a very humbling reminder to where I was half a lifetime ago. She just got a new job, and hopefully that this one is going to be a better fit for her and everything like that. And thirdly, I am very humbled and in awe of my community. I'm kind of like Kevin Bacon here now. I'm reintroducing myself to people who's been watching me over years evolve and create and grow and also struggle and strive and stuff like that. So I'm thankful for the opportunities. You might see me on a Disney movie and maybe that Superman movie that's coming into Ohio, but I am not a gatekeeper. I share as much as I give and give back. So that's my 3 things that I am thankful for.
All right. Anika, we're going to can we keep Julian right here? So,
yep.
Okay. All right. What were your thoughts, Anika, as you started hearing us talk about the things that we're grateful for?
Well, first, let me name my 3 things here as well, because it would not be fair of me to ask you all to list what you're grateful for.
That's right.
So very quickly, I'm grateful for my life and all that means, because I think I have taken for granted many, many times that I wake up, I step out of bed, and I get to do it all over again. So I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful to just be able to leave and impart wisdom, knowledge, experience while I am presently here. I'm grateful for my family, of course, and I have what we call fixed kin. So you guys are part of my family as well. So, I'm great. When I say family, I mean my family. I'm constantly picking up family everywhere we go. So I'm grateful, for my family. I am lastly grateful for the internal power that I possess that apparently Satan knows better than I do that I possess it, and I'm working through it and still learning about that. But I'm grateful to kind of be introduced to that and to be able to tap into that, because life. I think somebody said a little bit earlier. Sometimes life is sometimes life be life, and let's just say it like that. And just to be able to kind of plug in, also to connect with your family, also to be held accountable, and just be able to support others in ways that I can, I'm really grateful for. And then lastly, to answer your question, what I think about the gratitude that you guys are expressing, I appreciate that. That makes me feel proud. That's how I feel about it. It makes me feel proud because you guys are out there, day in, day and out doing this. And you're giving everything you got, not for notoriety, not for your name to be in headlines, not for any other reason than for love of our people. So I commend that. I hope you guys receive that, and I definitely appreciate that, which is why it's important for us to connect and us to tune in and take care of ourselves, because we're out here doing a lot. You guys are out here doing a lot. The world is not always the kindest, softest place to land. So just being able to take some strategies and do some things for ourselves can help us avoid burnout and can help us avoid crashing. And just establishing that network and different techniques and strategies to use to kind of refresh, because you're pulling it all in. It's got to go somewhere. And if you don't let it out, you can implode. I'm sure all of you, to some degree, have had some level of experience and what that could mean. I mean, that could mean from headaches, stomach aches, to nervous breakdowns, to all kinds of things. If we don't take care and do those little things to help our mental health, like taking a walk. I know I owe you a walk, Brother Washington. But I have been walking, writing in a journal. Julian, I need to get a hold of you. I have something for you, but I kind of haven't connected. So if you can get my contact information, I don't even know if I still have yours, but we'll check that out afterwards. And then Jody, expressing yourself and how you let things out, but also just being able to give other people something to hang on to that may not be able to express it in the same way. So I'm really proud of you gentlemen for doing that, because in our community, it's not a popular thing to talk about, especially with men. So, I applaud you guys. I'm really appreciating that. And, this is how we continue to heal our community. Is we can't, fight all the time and go after by everybody else and then fight each other. We got to heal. And sometimes that starts internally by doing those little things that, may not be the most attractive at the moment.
Yeah, I want to bring Julian back into this, because every week he comes on and we talk about the inward revolutionary. Julian, yes, we only have, we have 24 minutes left. How does that relate to to your journey, the journaling, the looking within, the making sure you heal yourself? How does that relate to Julian Mack, the inward revolutionary?
Yeah, and I'll relate this to a book I started listening to called Rest is Resistance. You know, everything in this, since the founding of America, right? We've been taught and conditioned to be commodified by our labor, right? By simply what we do, the sweat that we create. We've been conditioned to think that that is our worth, right? When we intrinsically have worth just by being on this earth, just by being children of God, right? And so, you know, I'm realizing one of the most revolutionary acts that we can take is rest, right? We can rest, right? We can dream again, right? Just think for a second, right? What it takes for a revolution to become possible, right? For us to escape the conditions that oppress us today. We got a dream, brothers and sisters. We got a dream. And there is no dream without rest, right? So rest is a fundamental and essential part of any revolutionary process, of any recovery process, and of any type of healing process. And in this capitalistic system, it is one of the most revolutionary acts we can take.
When did you come to realize how important rest is, and that rest is just as much a part of the resistance than some of the things that we do that I'm not going to mention online to fight back our enemy? Yep. So when did you realize that? Because I've never heard it talked about like that before.
Yeah, so I'm still realizing it, right? It's an ongoing education, right? Because, you know, like I said earlier, you know, many of the messages that we get from birth in this country have to do with what we want to do, right? But just we are more than what we do, right? And so we are all beings. So just by the simple fact that we be, and that we're beings, right? That in itself includes us in a certain level of worthiness that I think sometimes we're so quick to move past far too suddenly, right? There is worth and worthiness in simply being, you know? And so I don't know if it's any aha moment, right? It's more of the educational variety. And as I take time to look at, you know, the mountain within from multiple different perspectives, realizing that, you know, taking time to rest is an act of resistance, right? Very much so, right? Because, you know, to continue to act, do. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with action, but we can limit the capacity of how we define ourselves by simply what we do, right? When, you know, there are other aspects of our being, like I said, like dreaming, like resting, right? Like not buying in to doing all the time, but simply being, right? And then of course, becoming, right? And transforming into what we will be. Go ahead,
right.
Anika.
Let me let Anika jump in. What are your thoughts on this? And for the people that are watching, this is what activists do when we're not activisting. All right, we heal so that we can be right back on it next time. What are your thoughts on this, Anika?
So I really love the fact that Julian is exploring this information and sharing this with us, because it really makes a lot of sense. down to the cellular level. So one of the things I was going to ask Julian to expand upon is when you say rest, define what that means, because they're sleeping in Saturday morning. That's one kind of rest. But let's talk about the rest that rejuvenates our body down to our cells. Let's talk about what that means particularly.
Yeah, well, there's different types of rest, right? There's sleep, right? Which we need to rejuvenate our mind, body, and soul. There's being still, right? I've found enormous. So in my ability to be still has increased my gratitude, right? To connect, kind of your journey with mine, right? When I'm still and observe, starting with my breath to my body, to my surroundings, to what I hear, to my senses, right? When I am still, and y'all know I'm a busybody, right? But when I am still, I can appreciate so much more of what's around me. So this, I do want to say these are not all my ideas, right? There is a book. I try to link everything I do each week to literature. Rest is Resistance, and by a woman, Trisha Hersey, Black woman, right? And she calls this the nap ministry, right? And there are 4 tenets to the nap ministry: rest, dream, resist, and imagine. And the thing is when we're always going, we tend to lose track of the ability to rest, to dream, to truly resist, because we eventually deplete ourselves, and imagine, right? And we listen to, we'll talk about every year the I Have a Dream speech, but then we get so busy, we forget to dream, we forget to imagine, we forget to think beyond the possible, right? And that comes, so that comes from rest. And so for me, it can be in many different forms, but being still and being in a state of observation of myself first, and then especially like out in nature, because I think there's lots of parallels for me that I see. Everything that's outside of me is inside of me. Everything that's inside of me is outside of me. And so sometimes things that come to my attention that are outside of me bring attention to things I'm trying to resolve within me, right? And so that's what makes nature so beautiful. And the trees, there's a symbiotic relationship there. They keep us alive, we keep them alive.
All right. Hey, look, it is 6:44. Before we do anything else, Anika, could you tell everyone where to get the journal, the mother and son journal, and how they can get one for themselves?
Absolutely. So our journals, and when I say my son and I authored the mother and son and mother and daughter journals just because I shared my experience and research with him, and he's my test subject oftentimes, but he co-developed this journal with me, and they are available on Amazon, right on the screen. And if you can't see it, it's just www.amazon.com/author and then /Anika, Anika, S like Sam, FIELDS. There's also the gratitude journals, 30 days of gratitude. And that's just to help you establish the habit of gratitude, of being grateful. And there's we have some prayer journals and things that are available as well. Again, all of those on Amazon. But if you see me around, grab me, because I might have some on me as well.
All right. Well, don't be grabbing her. All right. Grab me some journals. I just saw myself.
And I just want to lift up Anika, because sometimes it's easy for us. It's easy for one to like look at just because something is simple does not mean it's not significant, right? So like the practice of journaling can rewire our brain chemistry, right? Of all the things in the world that we have the power to change our own mind is incredible.
It is.
And it is so important to be intentional about it. Sometimes sometimes I have let life happen to me, right? And I react to the things that happen to me, right? When I can choose to respond, not react, but to respond in a certain way that I know that feeds me, that helps me grow, that helps develop me in the direction in life that I want to go, right? And so, yes, a simple practice like a gratitude journal, right? Just because it's simple does not mean it's not significant. It can totally rewire our brain chemistry. It can totally revolutionize our mental health and change the lens that we look at ourselves and our world. So thank you for that.
That's right.
I received that and appreciate it. And that is the biggest reason why I wanted to share it with not only my family, but my community. Because when I practice it, and I'm a data person, so you can't just tell me anything. I'm going to go look at the data. I'm going to go read the journals. This is like my entertainment. I enjoy stuff like that. So when I actually looked at the data and I saw it, I'm like, okay, let me practice it. But at that 30-day mark, when I noticed that, if I were dealing with a person who was unintelligent or a person that was engaged in micro insults or any sort of racial microaggressions against me, I noticed that the practice of gratitude helped me automatically reframe the way I looked at it. And so it didn't bother me as much. Whereas before, 20 years ago, we're going to talk about what I would have done 20 years ago. 10 years ago, I would have done something a little bit differently. But now I can look at it in my mind because I've ingrained a habit. My mind automatically goes to something positive in the situation, and it helps me to basically give them their issue and not feel it in my stomach and not feel it with the headaches and the stress and all that kind of stuff. And it was through that practice of gratitude that I learned and was my own test subject and saw those differences, which is why I'm so very passionate about it and wanted to share it with everyone. So,
all right.
Now look, I want to say this. Here's the thing, right? Now, if they sold that in a pill, they had Trap going crazy, right? If your doctor sold it, you know what I mean? People would be begging their insurance company to get it, right? But now we have something that's readily available. It's free. We all have access to it. Now all of a sudden, everybody want to get hesitant. I don't know. You know what I mean? And so I thank you. I just thank
10 minutes. Right.
And not to debate that issue or anything, but they're learning. We give them all the information that we say we want to build, and guess who has the money to do it and market it and package it and advertise it across your screens. I think a lot of it is meeting each other more instead of telling the enemy how to treat us. I'm gonna shut up on that anyway.
Yeah, I would never tell you to shut up, but we do gotta wrap it up. All right, we're gonna pay some bills. We got 5 minutes of heat. We got tying up some loose ends. So if you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, listen to us on Spotify, follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. Yes, I'm going to start tweeting more or Xing more, whatever that is. And also follow us on YouTube. We need at least 100,000 subscribers so that we can get that plaque that comes in the mail. I don't know what it does. So we'd like you to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification. Our Black Lives Matter signs, they're going fast because somebody's picking them up. All right, and taking them. All right, we still have some defund the police signs, and we're going to make sure we push those defund the police signs. And we're going to have our brother Brandon Upchurch on next week to talk about his experience and what we're going to do next. Jody, that is it for me. If you could tie up some loose ends, 5 minutes of heat, and if you can do that within 9 minutes. I know that you can.
Yeah, actually.
You got this.
So what's up, everybody? I'm gonna kind of micro machine man this little segment here of things that you might have missed in the beautiful 419. Starting off with, if you don't know, a couple of days ago we had 419 Day, which is our area code. I know there's a 567 and all that stuff like that, but there was so many events going around and everything. I'm just gonna fire off a few. There was the 419 Mini Day Mart. We had the 419 Smokers open mic over at 719 Phillips, which was awesome. There was a Bowling Green Dance-topia, something like that. But again, in honor of 419 Day, Florence Scott Libby 419 Day 5K run. Ode to the Zip Code was on the next day, which is 420. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on. Hopefully you made it out. Of course, I was one of the recipients, but again, I was at work because I do so many hats that I could never be everywhere that I would want to be. But hopefully there's some footage or some video of that from the Ode to the Zip Code, and shout out to those very brave poets that submitted and everything like that. There was the studio sessions party. Shout out to Jared Boone Frazier for having us. We actually had kind of like the old days Rock Your Way, because there was a rock artist who lives upstairs in the House of Rock who was premiering one of his world premiere videos. And of course, we were in there doing studio time, and rappers and people from different around the city. So the clash of the different consciousness was awesome as we got down in the studio, and you could see, for better lack of words, trap rappers and stuff vibing out with the indie vibe and the guitar and stuff like that. At first I was like, oh crap, this is gonna be, but no, it was beautiful. So thank you, Jared. I can't wait to the next one. Following that, there was also a whole bunch of stuff going around locally at Frankie's. Shout out to Esham and T-Jax and OIC. 6 Digits did his last show at the Ottawa Tavern in the 6 Digit. I keep putting S on there, but 6 Digit, I was happy to be able to see that, where his son was in the audience and everything like that. So that happened on the 20th. Going forward, we had the cherry tree planting and community members at the Cherry Street Mission worship night featuring Chris Everett at 1201 Madison. There was the Neighbors Community Association. Again, as I started with the top of the show, thank you, Venice. Thank you, Mott Branch Library, for allowing us to host our first community forum. It doesn't mean we were on the placard. We were just the microphones. We were the people in the back. Thank you to Channel 1136 for showing up. I haven't seen the footage yet, but I'm sure it was awesome. The reporter actually always knows my name. So yes, if you're in Toledo, I'm pretty much Kevin Bacon at this point in time. But moving forward, there was the Love Your Plant Poetry Contest, live reading at 901 Jefferson's. I saw some footage from that. That looked beautiful. Then yesterday, we also had the Toledo Film Mixer. Again, I'm not gatekeeping, but check their page out. Check out Talent to Toledo, because there is a Disney movie shooting here locally coming up soon. And if you would love to be a part of the extras, follow them, get your actual IDBM and all that stuff, paid stuff as well. And there's a Superman movie shooting in Ohio as well, which is a paid background. So all the fields covered, stuff like that. There's also the open mic every Wednesday at Lucille's. Hope to check you out on the 2nd. Next Thursday, we'll be having the Poetry and Soul. So I think that's as many updates as I can get in there. How many minutes do I got left?
You don't have any minutes left, because they just put the 5 minutes of heat thing ticker under there.
So for 5 minutes of heat, as Brother Washington is about to describe what that is, I'm going to just kind of flip through my phone of the 6,000 poems I've written, because I want it to be natural. Also, happy Earth Day to those of you that celebrated and cleaned and all that stuff yesterday.
All right. 5 minutes of heat goes back to maybe 10 years ago when we were meeting in person, and we wanted to close out the meetings, but I never wanted to just use that gavel. I guess I had gavel trauma. Every time I hear a gavel, I'm doing 3 to 5. All right.
Robert's rules.
That's the true story too. All right. So we wanted to bring creative expression into the protest community or activist culture. And after the meeting, we just asked who has a poem, who has a rap. whatever you can do creative to close out this meeting, because Julian may have talked about something that's happening in the community. I may have talked about something else, and we wanted to end on a high note. And there was a young man there. He looked like Jody. He dressed like Jody, and I never thought that person had any type of poetry, but I've been wrong before. If you don't believe me, ask my wife. So that's where we have 5 minutes of heat, coming from a song from Houdini called 5 Minutes of Funk, and I just replaced the funk with the heat, which is both one and the same. So what do you have for us today?
Well, let's see. As I've been sitting here scrolling, I'm just going to blindly tap something.
All right.
Let's see what pops. Oh, I'm not going to do that. Gotta go re-roll again. But also, again, thank you everybody that clicks on the show, watches us, shares it, comments. Thank you to everybody in the comments today. And we have Peace of Mind, published November 11, 2022. So I am an open book, yes, an open book to those that decide to read. 1,000 words, yes, 1,000 words to those who've only caught a glimpse of me. A lifetime, yes, a lifetime to those that can say they were part of my story. If you are anywhere under the sound of my voice, you are now family, because on this stage is where I share the most vulnerable parts of myself. And I hope, yes, I hope that you hear me. Let's begin. Peace of mind. So I learned to stay away from people who did not want change, people who are always pointing the finger at someone else, people who are always ready to complain but never do anything when it comes time to make change, people that stay in front or behind but never at your side, people that would give up every time they were told to decide. This took most of my life and many miserable dead-end trails to circle back around and find out where I failed. I was becoming just like those people who would hear a tragic story and feel nothing, people that don't put their thoughts into their actions, people who encase themselves in their own perfect bubble, people that shut off the rest of the world to accomplish one goal. By criticizing the things I did not want to become, I was also giving them energy to what I would become. So I hugged everybody. At the very least, shook their hand to find out what made us so different. A simple acknowledgement to the person right in front of me. Not all hugs, handshakes, or a simple hello led to anything past that, but many of my branches took root. They led to conversations, connections, organizations, a community of growth I've seen on the uprise. So the best thing I learned to do for myself was stay away from people until I found myself in peace.
All right, and as always, we snap our fingers. Man, before we close out, Julian, Anika, was there anything that we missed that we should have said but didn't?
No, I think we did a good job in terms of touching upon everything we wanted to process today. It leads to future conversation though. So I'm excited about the future conversations that stem from tonight.
All right.
Speaking of Future, I'm taking Kendrick and Future in this Drake rap battle all day. I thought that was a wonderful segue.
That's okay. Kendrick did what he was supposed to do. The rest of the stuff is just injuries. Industry don't get sucked in.
I'm sorry, Julian. Finish. Never mind the person next to me. All right.
Yeah. Yo, I did just want to ask Jody, those sticks, the walking sticks you make, man, I wanted to just give you like, thank you for that. I use that probably multiple times a week, dude. And mine has like a small crack in it. Like one of these days when I come, when I'm in town, I'd like to link up and figure out more about the process of how you make it, or maybe get another one.
That is Bubba's creation. The big tall guy that's be at some of our events that looks like Santa Claus. He's the one that makes them. I actually just seen him.
Really?
He came to 419 Day, which segues into shout out to the Arts Commission, good to Dave, and all of them for doing 419 Day on Nebraska and Junction. It was beautiful.
That's cool, man. Yeah, just stay encouraged, man. And I hope to be able to join you all in person sometime in the near future.
Yes.
All right. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter to all Black lives matter.
Justice Sorrell.
Yeah.
Peace.